Time now for Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join News Director Paul David and News Editor Philip Catafamo as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics in Yavapai County that affect all our lives. And now here's today's Countywide.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Countywide. I'm your host, Philip Catafamo. I'd like to thank you for joining me. On today's show, we are talking hiking safety and also preventative, just safety in general for traveling as the summer months start to kick off here in northern Arizona. And I am joined by Sedona Fire Engineer, Cooper Carr. Cooper, welcome onto the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
You deal with a lot of these sort of issues in terms of heat-related issues, you know, people being stuck out on trails, people climbing where they're not supposed to be, which is why we brought Cooper on to sort of talk about some of those preventative measures. But I wanted to talk just briefly, you do a lot of the rope rescues and a lot of those backcountry rescues. Just kind of want to talk just briefly as we get started about, you know, what your job entails and what sort of some of that training is and some of the stuff you've seen out on the trails.
Sure, yeah. So Sedona is quite the hot spot for climbing and scrambling around and hiking, obviously. So the fire department, we take a lot of those rescues because we get them frequently. We take them pretty serious. Our training is pretty extensive compared to other departments because of the frequency of the calls we get. Especially as the warmer months come, we are out there every day, sometimes multiple times a day throughout the whole summer. So we have the whole fire department is a certain level of training. On top of that, we have another 18 guys, so 6 per 3 shifts at a way higher level of training. And then we have 6 of us that are helicopter rescue technicians also, and we work in conjunction with the Department of Public Safety. And so we're doing those pretty frequently as well. So yeah, it's almost like a second job. Yeah,
very much so. And like I mentioned, you're in the heat of it all the time, going out onto Bell Trail or Cathedral Rock if you're hiking in the Sedona area, some of the hot spots, and we'll talk about those. But let's start with this. Let's say we're about to go out on a hike. What are some of the first things that we should do before we go out?
Sure. So most of the calls that we get are either ground level falls, which are hard to prevent, but a lot of them are dehydration and heat related, as you mentioned. So first off, I would saturate your body with water and electrolytes before you leave. You don't want to start and leave your vehicle in a hydration deficit, if you will. So a lot of people do that, so they're already kind of behind the curve, and then they either don't bring enough water to sustain, or sometimes they don't bring any water. So they leave dehydrated and they don't have a way to replenish. And so it's hard for them to catch up while they're out on the trail, exerting energy and sweating. And so we always advocate to start hydrated, bring your water for the day, and then I personally and the whole rescue team keeps extra emergency water, which we don't even account for in the daily intake of the day. So those are just kind of good rules of thumb before you leave. Have emergency water you're going to drink for the day, and be hydrated beforehand. Now,
can you overhydrate? Is it, you know, like you said, you want to make sure you drink enough water before you go out on the trails, but is there a possibility that you could be drinking too much water?
I guess it's technically you could, but it's so rare. I don't think that's much of a consideration. I would say drinking water is rarely a bad idea ever.
So we got a lot of water, some extra water, of course, in your pack. What else would be some very important things to bring? Now, and of course, this rule applies for short hikes, long hikes. I've hiked twice in one day in different trails. So what else should we bring along with just extra water and water for ourselves?
Cool. So on top of that, you're going to want to bring some calories, some sort of sustenance to keep your energy levels up. Sunblock is also very important. We on the fire department now, we don't even do hike outs in our regular duty gear anymore. We all have high visibility sun shirts that are long sleeve and hooded to block the sun.
Because usually it's those like neon green ones you guys usually out there wearing?
Yeah, you can see us from like 10 miles away. There's
traffic cones going out and saving people.
That's us, man. That's us. And there's intent behind that. It's good for us to be able to be seen as well as get protected from the sun. So that's something else that's really important.
Yeah, and protecting yourself against the sun is very important. One of our camera guys, Steve, yesterday we were doing one of the softball games for Mingus Union. standing outside, and he was wearing a long sleeve shirt. And I said, Steve, why are you wearing a long sleeve shirt, man? You're making me hot. And he goes, I got to protect my skin.
Yeah.
You got to be careful. And so wearing a long sleeve shirt, although it seems a bit weird because, you know, you think hot weather, short sleeves, but really those long sleeve shirts are there to save your arms and make sure you don't get sunburned.
Yeah, absolutely. And most of our guys have found that if you can get the really thin ones, and, you know, as you sweat a little bit and the breeze comes through, it keeps you nice and cool, and it keeps the sun off your skin directly. And most of us seem to be preferring that these days as opposed to long or short sleeves.
Other things definitely to bring, charge cell phone. And I feel like this is one of the very big things, and I'll let you elaborate a little bit more, but letting somebody know where you're going and when you're going to come back.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great point. Telling everybody where you're going, the plan for the day, what time you think you should be out, and, you know, at what time should they start like trying to look for you if you're not back by. To expand on that a little bit, it helps us a lot if, say you were extended or you were hurt on the trail, having that full cell phone to call us. But in addition to that, we have the technology to pinpoint your location with a cell phone. What happens sometimes is the person calling will leave the victim who's having a hard time and go somewhere else and start hiking out. And sometimes they get lost and they call us and we pinpoint the caller who's no longer with the victim. So it's usually a good idea to call when you're with the victim so we know kind of exactly where to go. That helps us a lot. And
to that as well, if you are out on the trails and your hiking companion or a friend of yours falls, don't move, don't leave the area. Stay with them, correct?
Yes, yeah, that helps us a ton. Usually because of that cell phone, we're trained in lat and longs, so we can pinpoint that spot within a pretty short margin. We're not going to be too far off. So that helps us a lot more than someone trying to give us a description of where they went, because sometimes they get confused. There's a lot of trails in Sedona, and it's easy to get confused. So we'd rather you stay with them, help them out, keep them shaded, keep them hydrated, and just call and just spend some time with them. Yeah, keeping them as comfortable as you can.
I was out on Bell Trail not too long ago, and I saw some people hiking with just sandals on. And I thought it was interesting because, you know, I know that they make sandals that you can wear for hiking. They have a bit of a thicker sole at the bottom. But, I mean, shoes have got to be the way to go when it comes to hiking trails, right? Yeah, we definitely advocate for, like, full coverage shoes with proper hiking traction on them. Right. You know what I mean? There's a reason when we go out to rescue someone, we're not even wearing our duty boots. We all change into proper hiking footwear. I didn't know that you guys changed footwear as well. I guess it would make sense because it would be different terrain. Yeah, and that was something that kind of came over time. I think, you know, back 20, 30 years ago, it was like they used the same shoes, but now it's pretty much common practice when we get to the trail, we wear more appropriate footwear for ourselves. And the more frequent these get, the more we learn, and now we pretty much change our shoes and we change our shirt. So we're ready to go just like we advocate for. So before you go out on the trails, make sure to check the weather conditions, bring proper clothing. If it's going to be hot, wear a long sleeve shirt, hydrate before you even get out onto the trail while you're still at home, bring extra food, bring extra water, of course. Always have a fully charged cell phone and let somebody know where you're going and when you'll be back. We will be back to speak with Cooper Carr a little bit more about some of the preventative things you can do before you get out on the trails, and also some preventative measures for you to take to prevent a wildfire while you are traveling in your vehicle. So stay with us here on Countywide. We will be right back.
The mouth is the gateway to the digestive system. Studies indicate a correlation between oral health and full body health. Regular cleanings and checkups can help protect you. New patients are welcome at Arizona Smile Designers in Cottonwood. There's a full smile worth of services all offered under one roof. Whitening and cosmetic to implants and smile reconstruction. Find out more or request an appointment online at azsmiledesigners.com.
Your carpet is the largest air filter in your home, trapping dust, dirt, and germs from the air that your family members breathe, even the furriest ones.
That's why it's important to keep your carpet and tile clean and hygienic with regular cleanings by Zero Res. Zero Res uses state-of-the-art technology and powered water, not soap or harsh chemicals, so zero residue is left on home surfaces.
Schedule your appointment today because a clean home is a healthy home. Visit ZeroResNorthernArizona.com.
Hi, this is Greg at Verde Solar Power. You know, Arizona has lots of clean, renewable sunshine, and we want to help you take advantage of it with our quality solar installations, and we offer to beat any written offer on a residential solar electric system. So bring us your electric bill and let us show you how solar power will save you money. We're located conveniently here in the Verde Valley and are dedicated to helping the valley go solar. So remember, the energy solution comes up every morning.
Award-winning Soundbites Grill is an entertainment restaurant located in Uptown Sedona at the Hyatt Pinion Point Resort. Open for lunch and dinner, featuring fresh fish, all-natural hand-cut beef, even a full vegan menu. Family-friendly, open 11:30 to 9, late dining on Friday and Saturday. Soundbites Grill has some of the best views of the Sedona Red Rocks. Offers world-class entertainment, food, fun, and music.
Want to welcome you back here to Countywide. On today's show, we are talking heat and hiking safety. My guest in studio today is Sedona Fire Engineer Cooper Carr. In the first segment, we talked a little bit about some of the things you can do before you get out on the trail. Definitely bring extra food and water, wear the proper clothing and footwear, let somebody know where you're going, when you'll be back, fully charged cell phone. There's a lot of things to keep in mind before you head out on the trails. One of the big things, though, Cooper, before we sort of move away from hiking and go more into travel, COVID obviously has put a lot of people at home. I myself, I'm sure you've dealt with a little bit of isolation as well. I mean, in any capacity, whether you are at home 24/7 or you're like me who just commuted from work to home, going back out on the trails when you haven't been working out as much or you haven't been hiking as much is very dangerous and you have to really understand your limitations coming off of isolation during COVID.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a good point. I think a lot of us maybe weren't in the shape we were when the lockdown happened, and it's being overshadowed by the fact that we're so excited to get back out there and to do the things we used to do, but maybe we just haven't done the legwork to keep ourselves as fit. So it's definitely a good point to keep that in mind. Know your limitations, and you can always scale back and go another day. And you know, it seems like we're starting to ramp back up. I know Sedona definitely is. Yeah. So you can just come back another day and maybe take baby steps as you get back out there.
Another thing I forgot to mention early on as well is hike in the morning, and it's starting to get a lot hotter now in Sedona and here in northern Arizona in general, and hiking when it's a little cooler out is a great idea as well. So we've talked about the before the trail. Now how about on the trail? Rattlesnakes are starting to become a little bit more prevalent out on the trails and stuff. You were telling me a story of somebody called 911 about a snake on the trail, which definitely just call 911 regarding snakes if they're in your house. But I do want to ask you this, though. Obviously, paying attention to rattlesnakes is huge. What else might be out there that you really need to kind of watch for to make sure you don't step on or you don't run into? Okay,
yeah. So the snake one is definitely quite the issue, I guess, the main one to watch out for. And the best way to avoid stepping on one of them is to stay on the trail for not only your own safety, but for just the topography and the land. I'm on the helicopter team in Sedona as well. When you fly over, it's like a spider web of trails. I don't think we need any more. Yeah. So stay on the trail for that alone. Safety-wise, though, just go slow. Go nice and easy. There's plenty of, cactus, agave. We've ran on some really nasty agave calls of people kind of trying to make their own trail, and you can't always see exactly what's poking out through the bushes. And we've had some pretty bad ones for that. So definitely watch out for those types of things. It is the desert. Those are, a lot of pokey things out there with a lot of, venomous type tips on them that can cause you to have a really bad day. Yeah. So on top of that, bees and stuff like that, just stay on the trail, stay with the established path, and you should be as well prepared as you can, I guess.
As I mentioned at the beginning of the show, Cooper handles a lot of the backcountry rescues and a lot of the rope rescues that happen in the Sedona area. In fact, behind me is Bell Trail, and he pointed specifically to one section that he has actually saved people from. But I want to ask you, we've talked about it a few times, the increase in backcountry rescues. I mean, is there something we can pinpoint to why we're seeing an increase? Do you have any possible explanation as to why we're seeing more people just being kind of dumb out there?
I would say that what seems to be the conclusion that we have at the fire department is social media has definitely put a lot more of these iconic spaces on the map. You know, people see beautiful photos of, you know, Devil's Bridge and Bell Rock, and they want to go there, which makes sense. So it's just an increase of volume of people as well. So I think that is part of it, as well as COVID and how you mentioned, and now people are wanting to get back out there. I know that, you know, some of the holidays, right as they started to loosen restrictions, I know Sedona was overrun with people, and to the point where I don't think it's sustainable just from a land perspective or traffic. Right. So it's just, it's a volume issue, and the more people there are, the more choices that are being made, maybe not the best ones at times. So that seems to be what we're seeing, you know.
One more thing I forgot, watering spots. Obviously there's a lot of places to go swimming here in northern Arizona. A lot of trails do end or have a portion where you can go into the water. Slide Rock is a huge one during this time of the year. Beaver Creek is another one that people love to go to just because you could get a chance to cool off after that long hike. But that safety with watering spots as well. Are there any sort of tips there? I know we've talked about before the show, a lot of people hitting their head while sliding down Slide Rock. It seems the excitement is there for sure, but the safety has become more of a secondary a thought.
Yeah, absolutely. Those two ones for sure seem to be the most prevalent. Slide Rock, which the biggest thing there is the slippery rocks. It's almost like it was made by nature to cause issues for people. So go slow, walk into the water, really feel for yourself how slick those rocks are, and you need to probably accompany your child to the water first so they can understand it. Most kids see the water, they go running for it, and they pop their head on the ground, and it's, you know, a little bit ugly. As far as like Beaver Creek, that hike's pretty long. I don't think people understand that. There's now a sign at the trailhead posting how many rescues have been done at that trailhead for the season, and it just ticks up every single day. So know your limits. Know that it's a nice, cool watering hole when you get there, but you still need to get out in the heat. And that is something you need to be realistic with yourself on how far it is in and how far out.
Winter driving kits in your vehicle need to start moving out. We need to move in the summer travel kits. We got just a couple minutes. We'll touch upon this again when we come back, but what are some things that need to be in those summer travel kits? Yeah, summer travel kits are going to need to have water for sure. Being broke down on the side of the road in the middle of the heat can be an issue. Water and food, sunblock as well, is just good to have. As far as vehicles go, you're probably going to mention towing trailers with chains and stuff like that can cause major issues. We've been on fires where there's been one fire every half mile going down the road, and it causes quite the mess for the day, and it can be a major problem if you don't look through your vehicle, have it checked, and especially if you're towing a trailer with some chains hanging down, stuff like that. Yeah, and just checking your vehicle in general to make sure that it's in good working order as well. Outside of tow chains, we do have a lot of problems where a vehicle will break down and they'll pull off to the side of the road into some tall grass, and then the heat of the vehicle will start a fire. Or we had one last year where a catalytic converter shot out some sort of sludge and it burst into flames. It caught some stuff on fire. So very important as well to just in general make sure that your vehicle is in tip-top shape, especially if you're traveling, you know, from the southern part of the state, or if you're coming from here and going down more towards the Phoenix area or even towards Tucson. There are spots everywhere where you can start a roadside wildfire, and it's definitely important to make sure you check your vehicle before you head out. When we come back, we'll continue to talk about a few more of those preventative measures before we wrap things up here on Countywide. Stay with us. We will be right back.
The mouth is the gateway to the digestive system. Studies indicate a correlation between oral health and full body health. Regular cleanings and checkups can help protect you. New patients are welcome at Arizona Smile Designers in Cottonwood. There's a full smile worth of services all offered under one roof. Whitening and cosmetic to implants and smile reconstruction. Find out more or request an appointment online at azsmiledesigners.com.
Carpet is the largest air filter in your home, trapping dust, dirt, and germs from the air that your family members breathe, even the furriest ones.
That's why it's important to keep your carpet and tile clean and hygienic with regular cleanings by Zero Res. Zero Res uses state-of-the-art technology and powered water, not soap or harsh chemicals, so zero residue is left on home surfaces.
Schedule your appointment today because a clean home is a healthy home. Visit ZeroResNorthernArizona.com.
Hi, this is Greg at Verde Solar Power. You know, Arizona has lots of clean, renewable sunshine, and we want to help you take advantage of it with our quality solar installations, and we offer to beat any written offer on a residential solar electric system. So bring us your electric bill and let us show you how solar power will save you money. We're located conveniently here in the Verde Valley and are dedicated to helping the valley go solar. So remember, the energy solution comes up every morning.
Award-winning Soundbites Grill is an entertainment restaurant located in Uptown Sedona at the Hyatt Pinion Point Resort. Open for lunch and dinner, featuring fresh fish, all-natural hand-cut beef, even a full vegan menu. Family-friendly, open 11:30 to 9, late dining on Friday and Saturday. Soundbites Grill has some of the best views of the Sedona Red Rocks. Offers world-class entertainment, food, fun, and music.
I want to welcome you back here to Countywide. On today's show, we are talking hiking and heat-related safety. I am joined by Sedona Fire Engineer Cooper Carr. In the first segment, we talked about before you head on the trail, make sure that you are properly hydrated, you bring enough food and water, you are wearing the proper footwear and clothing. Be aware of rattlesnakes. Be aware of cacti that might be out and about. Be aware of any other small critters and stuff that might be out on the trails. Have a fully charged cell phone. Tell somebody where you're going, when you'll be back. If you're traveling and you're towing a trailer, keep those tow chains up. Switch out your winter travel kit with your summer kit. Again, water, food, fully charged phone, and a few more of those preventative things. But Cooper, is there anything else that you want to get out to the public before we call it a day here with the show? I know we've talked about a lot in terms of hiking and in terms of travel safety, but if there is anything else regarding that, do you want to say anything else?
I think just the main points to hit, other than what we've talked about, would be to just stay within your limits. You know, like you mentioned, we've all been kind of cooped up in the house for quite some time. So just keep within your limits. Check your friends, make sure they're doing the same. We've had a lot of people that have already early on in the season, the rescue season as we call it, have probably scrambled out of their limits and taken some pretty bad falls already early this season. So we'd like to avoid that if possible.
If you want any more information about the Sedona Fire District in general, sedonafire.org is their website, or you can give them a call, 928-282-6800. Cooper, some non-heat and related stuff. Later this month, Sedona Fire is hosting a spring cleanup to help create defensible space around your homes. It's also very important. We're getting close to wildfire season. And a lot of these things we talked about do cause wildfires, specifically disabled vehicles on the side of the road. But when is that spring cleanup coming, and what can people expect, and where should they go?
The exact date I'm not sure about right now. I think it's in a month or so.
I think it's May 21st through the 24th.
Yeah,
I think.
You know better than I do. You want a job?
Yeah.
So yeah, we do it every year, and it's really important to clean up around your house and create that defensible space. I know that there's a lot of spots that we wouldn't even know it, and we go in there and they're so overgrown, and there's just no way for us to defend that safely or effectively. So have that defensible space, because we have so much urban interface, not just in Sedona, but here in Cottonwood. All these neighboring areas have some really, I'd say, at-risk neighborhoods where they need to put in some work to get that to where we could at least have a chance to maybe make a stop.
So if you're interested in that, you are a Sedona resident, sedonafire.org. I'm sure there's information about that spring cleanup on the website. Definitely go check that out. Sedona Fire Engineer Cooper Carr, thank you very much for coming on, and thank you very much for what you do. You keep all of us trailheaders or people who are hiking on the trails very safe, and we appreciate that. But again, make sure that you are ready before you go out and hike. Make sure that your vehicle is prepared before you hit the road. Be safe whenever you're traveling. We're getting into the hotter weather here in northern Arizona, and we all want to recreate outside safely, and we all want to have fun. So that is going to do it for this episode of Countywide. I'm your host, Philip Catafamo, wishing you a great rest of your week. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you next time.